Ease of use, you'll remember, has to do with how intuitive the technology is to use. If I use computers, a drop-down menu doesn't faze me. It's pretty easy to use. But if I'm talking about a technology that's just been invented and I don't know who the end user is, how am I going to understand ease of use? It's very difficult, and quite frankly, you really can't do it. So the trick is to use the performance metrics. The performance is to figure out where the applications are, see who the end users are, and then once you identify who those end users are, determine whether your technology is easier to use or not. So you use ease of use as a secondary weeding tool for applications. Now, that said, sometimes there are almost intrinsic notions of what's easier to use or not. Let's take a look at an example. We all know the old story about Icarus flying too close to the sun, or hopefully you've heard this Greek myth. Here's a piece of art. There's some ladies in here, and they are holding on to feathers, and they're flying with these feathers. Now, if all you have to do is hold on to something, that's pretty easy to use. That's not that difficult. A lot easier to use a technology like this than a technology like an airplane, where you have to figure out how to fly the airplane as well as how to make the airplane, get aboard, all that kind of stuff. What am I saying? Basically this. Ease of use is related to how we interface with the technology. The more the interface is direct, hand, hold, I see, I look, there is a button, I push the button, click, there's an idiot light, it's either green or red, versus a dial that I have to interpret. The more simple and direct the physical interface, the more likely you are to have an easier to use technology. The more mediated, the more complicated the interaction of the end user with the technology, the less easy it is to use in general. But again, it's all context specific. It all depends on who the end user is. When we come back, we'll talk very briefly about price.